late afternoon, Melton Mowbray and the surrounding area, for those of you that are seeing this via the old algorithms as opposed to being one of the lovely follower folk. I am here with the lovely Katie today, and
Hello.
we are going to be talking about something that I don't think I've really covered on one of my Q&As yet, which is live entertainment, live music, and specifically performers of live music, because I know I've done previous Q&As where I've spoken to promoters, but not necessarily the performers themselves. So I must start, Katie, by saying thank you for taking your time out of what I imagine to be a very busy schedule to actually have this chat to me today.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. So let's talk about, obviously, you're a musician. So let's talk about how you developed that love of music and where that kind of love came from.
Yeah, so I've been doing music for about 2.5 years now. It sort of started after school. I had a pretty rough time in school. I got bullied for about 9 years and didn't really have very much luck with like relationships and that kind of stuff. So I guess you could say I've got a lot to write about. That's where it sort of started after I'd been through like all of this trauma and stuff. Music was kind of where I went to escape all of that. So I started writing about all of it and just started on my guitar and just playing with tunes. I always loved singing. So, and then my mum brought me a studio experience day at a recording studio just for the fun of it. And I went, and the producer really liked my stuff and he wanted to work together. And I told him like about my songs that I'd been writing. And so that's where it sort of began. And we recorded 5 songs now. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. So immediately kind of straight into stardom on your first recording then?
Yeah, literally. I literally went for like a Christmas present and then all of this like recording was happening, but I loved it. It was amazing.
That's awesome. So obviously you write your own music. You've said kind of that you're using that as therapy to kind of process a lot of what you're going through. Does your music tend to fall within like a certain style, certain genre, or do you kind of experiment? Because I know some artists kind of keep in the same sphere, but others they kind of experiment a bit more.
I do feel like all of my songs are probably in the genre of pop, I would say, but each one has like got their own feeling. So, like one of my songs, Infectious, I would call it kind of quite rocky. It's got a lot more electric guitar in it. Whereas my first song that I ever made was Through Her Phone, and that's more acoustic style, a bit slower. So, they are a bit of a mixture, but it's mainly like pop overall.
Yeah. So, obviously, you've got the recording side and you're starting to do quite a bit in the whole live music circuit. So how does that differ between, you know, actually being in the studio compared to, you know, going out and performing these songs live to the people?
Yeah, it's quite fun. I mean, I've always thought of it as like I've sort of got like 2 sides to what I do, because I have like my original music side where I write pop songs and acoustic songs with my guitar and I go and get them recorded and I do that sort of thing. And then on the side, I go and perform gigs in like pubs, and usually that's full of like the older audience. So I'm performing songs from like the Beatles or Elvis, and I absolutely love it. So I sort of have like my pop music and then the audience's favorite type of music, which is the older stuff. So it works well, to be fair.
Do you have a particular gig that stands out to you as being like the best one you've ever done so far?
Yeah, I did a gig in the Wheel Inn in Rearsby, just outside of Melton, and it was an older like audience, but it was so amazing. I did one song, Is This the Way to Amarillo? And at one point, every single person in that pub was like on their shoulders, and you know the walk around thing they do.
Yeah.
The whole venue, everyone was going around. It was so amazing. It's such a nice place in there. I've done 2 gigs in there now, so yeah, definitely one of my favorites.
And I bet the euphoria from seeing the audience reacting that way is just electric in itself, isn't it?
It is, like the feeling you get to know that you're doing this for someone and you're making a difference to that person's night or day is just so amazing. Yeah.
So that leads to your future gigs then. So what gigs have you got coming up this year within our lovely Meltonian borough?
Yeah, so I've got 3 so far. So my first one is in Queniborough at the Britannia, and that is on the 31st of January. So that will be 7:30 till 9:30. And then the one after that is on Valentine's Day, and that's actually in the Grapes in Melton. So that will be a nice one because I know they've just refurbished, so that'll be quite nice.
Yes, and might I say, make sure you pick up a bite to eat whilst you're there.
Yeah, it looks lovely now. So that's exciting. And then I've got one at the Bell in Frisbee, which is on the 22nd of February. So that's quite nice. I've been there before. Really nice venue.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Bell, and I've heard things about the Britannia as well. Good things. Both places I need to try and get my hind over
Yeah.
at some point. It's trying to, you know what it's like, trying to get it in the diary. And have you got any new music coming out?
Yeah, I'm actually in the studio next week on Thursday. I'm in HQ Studios in Leicester, and I'm writing a new song called They Win. And the concept of it is about someone loving drugs more than they love you. You know, they choose drugs over you, and you sort of get left behind in the relationship. So I'm looking forward to recording that next week. It's going to be sort of pop with my acoustic guitar in the back.
And something like that's such a big pressing issue at the moment, so you couldn't really hit the timing of that any better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wanted to try and get a few out this year, so hitting it in January is really good.
So, if people want to listen to your music that you've recorded, download it, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so on all of my socials, it's the same name. It's Katie Rose with 2 E's. So pretty easy. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. So yeah, everything's on there.
Brilliant. And are we able to stream? Are we able to download, like, order the singles? Are we able to, like, Spotify it, SoundCloud it? How can we go and download it for our listening pleasure?
Yeah. Katie Rose on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff. I've got 5 songs out, so you'll be spoilt for choice.
Brilliant. And I know a few venues in Melton, they're looking for some music, starting to book in their calendars. Obviously, I know there's loads of events happening that they're looking for acts. People watch this interview and they're like, oh my God, she sounds amazing. We want to hear a mix of her stuff. How did they go about booking you?
Please email me at katierosesinger@gmail.com. Yes, please. That would be lovely.
Awesome. So I think that concludes everything that I wanted to ask you today, Katie. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check this out. Guys, make sure to follow Katie Rose on all of her social media platforms and head on to Spotify if you guys are on there and stream her music. Make sure that girl gets those revenues.
Thank you.
We could even try and get her to #1. Why not?
Oh, yes.
Let's go the whole hog. And like I said, venues, make sure to reach out to her if you're looking for a new act or act to bring back for your live entertainment pleasure. So it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Katie. And have a fantastic rest of your weekend, everyone. Goodbye.
Nice to